Today we're going to talk about games that I've played over the year, games that I have learned to appreciate through playing them. Some games that I probably might not have played if I didn't have this channel. So I'd like to take 30 minutes or something and just talk about each of the games from this year. So this year's been an incredible year for gaming. A lot of people say it's been one of the best years in a while for gaming. We had some Zelda, we had Spider-Man. There were a couple games that I didn't play. Obviously, I didn't have the money or time to. But it's been a good year. So I'm going to start off by talking about The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. So, Tears of the Kingdom was the sequel to Breath of the Wild, as you might know. It was highly anticipated. It was one of the most anticipated games of this year. And it was supposed to come out last year at the end of the year. It didn't. It came out in May of this year. This was just a really good game. I spent hundreds of hours playing it. It was good. So, let me think about where I want to rank this. I don't know if I would put it at S tier. It was good, but I think Breath of the Wild was better. So, I'm going to put it at, I think, A tier. So, some of you might disagree with me. I think it's one of the best games of the year, but is it the absolute best? We'll have to see. And these are just games that I played. This isn't like games that came out this year, all of them, but this is like games that I have played. If you would like to see a video where I rank all the games that came out this year, we can do that, but I haven't played very many of them. That's the problem. So, next up we have Horizon Zero Dawn. This game right here. Zero Dawn came out in 2017, I believe. It's kind of an old game. But the first time I played it, it took my breath away. It was just so incredibly well done. Such a unique, I wouldn't say story, but such a unique, like, it kind of is a story. It's the story tied in with the gameplay mechanics. Being able, I've told my brother this. I've told people that I refer this game to them, that there's something addicting about playing the Horizon games. It's partially the stealth aspect of it, but it's also like being able to do one shot a machine and take it down. There's just something that's so good about it. And then it plays well. I have not had a complaint with the Horizon games. Zero Dawn, there were a couple things that I was a little bit frustrated with, but they fixed them in the sequel. So, for Horizon Zero Dawn, I think I'm going to put that in A as well. It's a good game. It's an old game. It's good for an older game. So, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. If you haven't played it, go play it. If you don't have the money to buy it, go check out the videos on my channel. I've got the entire playthrough, except for the very, very beginning of Horizon Zero Dawn. And I've also got the DLC playthrough. I kind of went quick through the DLC because I wanted to get into the sequel. But, yeah, it's a good game. Alright, next up we have Kena, Bridge of Spirits. So, I believe it was made from an independent gaming company, like a smaller company. And I believe this was their first outing making a game. And all I gotta say is it was breathtaking. It was very cartoonish, the art style. But I kind of like that. It wasn't like, there's some games where it's like, it looks so cartoony that it's bad. Kena Bridge of Spirits was not that. It was well designed. It was very beautiful. And the game was I wouldn't say the most unique thing that I've ever played, but it was good. It was unique enough. It was its own thing enough from games that have come out recently that I would consider putting it in its own little part of its own category. It's just so good. It's a little short. I wish it was longer. I wish there was more missions to do. Basically, you're just going through about 3 different areas, and that's it. So my complaint with the game is that it was too short. But besides that, it was really good. I'm gonna put this one in B tier. It wasn't quite as good as these games, but it was good. It deserved more attention than it got. Alright, next up we have Immortals Fenyx Rising, this game right here. This game is good for a couple reasons. This game is good because it takes a story that is completely new, but is surrounded by Greek mythology and within things that have already existed. It's a unique story that is grounded. It has its feet planted firm. It is very much like Breath of the Wild. If you have played Breath of the Wild or you played Fenyx Rising, they are very similar games. Actually really similar. However, Fenyx Rising is it's good because it feels fresh enough from Breath of the Wild. I played it right after playing Breath of the Wild for the first time, and it felt fresh enough. I felt like I wanted to go around and do all the different tasks and stuff. I 100%ed it the last time I played it, so it's a good game. However, there are some things that might bother some people, and I've talked to a couple people about this. One of the biggest is the voice acting. The voice acting is good, but it's not great. This is a game where Zelda is a toony, cartoonish game that is very serious. It takes itself seriously. Immortals Fenyx Rising would be the other way. It'd be a good game, a serious game, but that is taken in a kind of humorous, comedic way. The voice acting is they're always playing jokes. They're always saying different little puns and stuff like that to try to get the player to laugh. And another thing I will say is that where Breath of the Wild, I felt like I didn't need instructions on how to play the game. I didn't need instructions on how to do anything. I felt like there were parts in Fenyx Rising where I didn't know what to do, and I had to look it up, and I had to figure it out, and there was no clues in the game that would tell me otherwise. There was one of the vaults, it's kind of like the shrines that you go into, and it was up on top of a hill, and the hill was surrounded by this malice stuff that you couldn't fly through. You couldn't get, it would run your stamina down, and I had no idea how to do it. It took me forever to figure it out. I finally just decided to look it up. It turns out you had to go to like a really large tree that was like half the map distance away, and you had to fly through the air through it and get up that way. I would have never known that otherwise. Another thing about this game is I felt like with like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, I didn't want to end the game because I was worried that the end would be too tough, or I didn't want to end the game because I loved playing the game. I loved being in the world so much that I was like trying to push the ending off as far as I could. But with Fenyx Rising, I felt kind of the opposite. I felt like I didn't want to go do the end because I just didn't have the motivation to. So, for Fenyx Rising, I don't think it's as good as Kena, so I'm going to put it in C tier. it didn't get the greatest ratings, but I kind of wish they would have done more with it. They have a couple DLCs, and I have the DLCs. I haven't beaten the DLCs, but um, yeah, I just wish it was a little bit better. All right, Final Fantasy VII Remake. Just for reference, I have not beaten all these games. Final Fantasy VII is one of those games. So for Final Fantasy VII, I never played the PlayStation 1 game when it came out. I have played a couple Final Fantasy games. I played like half of 6 on the Nintendo, the Super Nintendo. I played 13 with Lightning. I played the beginning scene, the beginning part of 10. I played Crystal Chronicles with my friends. It's kind of a multiplayer Final Fantasy game. And I think that's it as far as... Oh, and I played like 10 minutes of 15. But this one it's really good. I don't know if I would have liked it as much on the PlayStation 1. I feel like the voice acting and the 3D animation and the graphics makes it that much better. I feel like if I were just had to read the words on the screen and the geometric shapes that are on screen, I don't know if I would have liked it as much. But this one's good. I think I'm going to put it in B tier. Like I said, I haven't finished it. I'm going to try to finish it before February, because I think it's February, is when the second part of this game comes out. And I'm looking forward to that. So we'll try to finish that before February. My next game, we'll talk about Hogwarts Legacy. And while I haven't beaten Hogwarts Legacy on camera, I have beaten it. It's a very good game, but there are little things that kind of I wish they had improved a little bit. One of my biggest qualms with Hogwarts Legacy is the fact that we can't play Quidditch. And I know they mentioned it in the beginning of the game that Quidditch has been shut down due to an injury. But that was like one of the things I was looking forward to in the game, was being able to play Quidditch. So not having Quidditch kind of pushes it down a little bit for me. The game is magnificent. The game is beautiful. It's got a very big open world. The story is decent. There were kind of like two main stories that were going on throughout the game, and it seemed like there was the one about the girl that used to go to Hogwarts, that taught at Hogwarts, her name was Isadora, I think. And her learning how to take pain and suffering away from people and use it as a power. And then there was the story of Sebastian and him kind of falling into, that kind of dark side, the evilness that's within him. I don't know which one I like better. I think Sebastian's story was more enjoyable the first time through, but the second time through, since I know everything that's going to happen, it makes me kind of want to avoid it. Another thing I have to say about Hogwarts Legacy is the fact that it's supposed to be open world, and it almost is completely open world, except you cannot fly in Hogsmeade, which kind of drives me nuts. You can fly pretty much anywhere else except for Hogsmeade. You can fly near the castle. You can fly up onto one of the walkways up on the top of the castle, but you cannot fly around in Hogsmeade, and that drives me nuts. I will say I watched a video a little bit ago about people's likes and dislikes about this game, and one of the things they had said was they were not a fan of the dialogue. The dialogue and the different voice acting is repetitive, and after I heard that, I couldn't unhear it, and everywhere I went, it felt like people the NPCs in the game were just saying the same thing over and over. So that is kind of hard for me too. I think for this game, I wouldn't say it's as good as Kenna. Kenna's voice acting is spot on. Kenna's gameplay is fantastic. The only thing that downside for Kenna is the fact that it's not bigger. But Hogwarts Legacy, I think I'm gonna have to put it in C because it's just not as good. It's not as good as Final Fantasy, and Final Fantasy is not an open world game. But Final Fantasy, the areas that are still linear feel a little bit open. That you don't feel as constricted except for during certain parts of the game. So I'm okay with that. The next game we're going to talk about is Forbidden West. This is another game I have not finished. Forbidden West, for me, is like Horizon Zero Dawn, but better. It's that good. It fixes most of the mistakes that Zero Dawn had. And, of course, they were making Zero Dawn. They had no idea what the different things would be. You know, they were making it, and they made a masterpiece. One of the things I had an issue with in Zero Dawn was that if you fall from any height, you're pretty much dead. Forbidden West fixes that you don't get hurt as much if you fall from a shorter distance. And if you fall about, I don't know, an hour or two into the game, you get a glider. So that's kind of eliminated that whole thing. They also have it's kind of like a hook shot. They call it the rope caster. That is awesome. That's one of my favorite additions to the game. It just makes it so much more enjoyable. It makes the puzzles more enjoyable. Looking for the little marker that shows that you can hook onto something. Also using it to grab it, crates and stuff like that. It's fantastic. And another thing I will say is about this game that is better than the first one. The first one had me intrigued. It was kind of like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Breath of the Wild, had no idea what was going on when I started playing it. I had no idea of anything. I hadn't played a Zelda game for like 10 years before that. And then I played Breath of the Wild, and it blew me away. I had no idea what I was doing, and it was just fantastic through the entire experience. Tears of the Kingdom wasn't as great because it didn't have that excitement that I had when I was playing Breath of the Wild. That's kind of the same thing with Zero Dawn and Forbidden West. Forbidden West, it's a different area. But the one thing that Forbidden West has over Zero Dawn that has to do with like the excitement and story and all that stuff has to be the fact that you don't have to be a kid. I hated the part being a kid, and like, I don't know, I just did not like it. So the fact that she's an adult, that she can roam about freely, and it is completely open world after a certain point is just phenomenal. I love that it's based in kind of our world, like in Zero Dawn. I don't know if it's so much in Forbidden West. I know there's a couple places, but in Zero Dawn, there's a couple places that are in Utah. Like they had the Arches from Arches National Park. They had the Bryce Canyon hoodoos. There's the sand formations that they have there. They had, I think it was for Zero Dawn, they had the Red Rock Stadium in Colorado. I think that's what it's called. They had a lot of really cool stuff, and I appreciate that. I like that. You don't see many games like this that are really based in the real world like this. So I appreciate it. I'm going to put this one at S tier because it's definitely better than Zero Dawn. And finally, we have Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2, I played Miles Morales. I didn't play it on the channel, but I played Miles Morales. And that game was fantastic. I hadn't played a Spider-Man game ever, so that game, going into that game, was good. I love the story. Everything about that game was fantastic. It was a little short, but I think that's supposed to be expected when you play Spider-Man games. Spider-Man 2, from what I understand, is pretty short. I've played a couple like episodes on my channel. I think I'm like episode 6 or 7 or something like that on Spider-Man 2. And it says I'm 50% done with the game, which is insane to me because I feel like I just started. I feel like I haven't done very much. I just got the Venom suit last time. So it's a little strange to me that it is so short, but supposedly that's pretty normal. The good things about this game are that it is gorgeous. It looks phenomenal. It is fun to play. Swinging around New York is one of the most enjoyable things I will do in a video game. Like, honestly, I will say that I felt like, and I don't know if this is just me, I felt like I didn't have so many trip ups when I was playing Miles Morales as I do with Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2, I feel like I'm always like, I'm swinging through the city and then I'll hit it like a tree or something like that. And I'll fall down or something. It might be my settings, and I've heard that there's the setting that you can change that will make it easier. But I don't want it to be necessarily easier. I just want it to be smooth. I do like switching between Peter and Miles and how quick it is, how smooth it is. I can barely even tell that there's been a transition at all. And the story so far is pretty good. I feel like there is a lot of collectibles though, which is kind of weird to me because in Miles Morales it felt like there were like maybe 4 or 5 collectibles, but this one there's like, I don't know, maybe there's not, but it just feels like there's a lot of collectibles. There's like the Uncle Aaron stuff, there's the Emily May Foundation stuff, I don't know what it's called. There's the Sandman, the crystals. There's so much stuff that you have to do, and it just feels a bit overwhelming. Also, I feel like the side quests on this game are not as enjoyable. Like if you get a big side quest, it's fun, but like the little like emergency things that happen throughout the city, I feel like those aren't as enjoyable. They're basically the same thing every time. And I feel like I don't have the best control on either character compared to when I was playing Miles Morales. Maybe I paid more attention at the beginning of Miles Morales and like understood how to use the different controls, and it's been so long since I played Miles Morales. So that might have something to do with it, but as far as, you know, the gameplay goes, the story, everything that I've done so far, I think I would rate it a B tier. And I know there are going to be people that hate me for that. It's good. I wouldn't say it's Game of the Year good. For me, Game of the Year would have to go to... Let me actually look really quick what the Game of the Year nominees are. Okay, I haven't played Alan Wake 2. I haven't played Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Baldur's Gate I heard was good, but I haven't had a chance to play that. I think out of these games, I'd have to say that it would have to be Tears of the Kingdom based on the games that I played, which is 2. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I want to continue playing games, and I love playing games. I'm playing the show right now, which isn't really a game that you'd play on live stream. It's not really a very like exciting game, but I love baseball, so I'm playing that on my own. I just started the other day. I just started Ghost of Tsushima, and those videos should be coming up in maybe a week or something. So expect those. I guess not a week. It'd be whenever those videos start coming up, they'll start coming up. They might have already started coming up at the point that I upload this video. But yeah, I like playing video games, and if you guys have any suggestions for video games that I should be playing, let me know. I'm not a huge horror fan game. I think the only horror game that I ever played, which wasn't too horror-ish, was I played Last of Us. I played that on Twitch when I had a Twitch account a year ago or something like that. That was a great game. I don't know if I'd be up to playing that game again, though. So just give me some suggestions, and I'll see if I can get to it. I also eventually want to get into Assassin's Creed series. I've never played any of those games. I played about 25 minutes of Assassin's Creed 3. I got on the boat, and that was about it. So I'm going to end this video there. Thank you for joining me if you did. Thank you for watching and liking and subscribing. And let me know what you think. Let me know your tier list. Let me know your favorite games of the year that you've played. It doesn't have to be games from this year. It can be games that are 5 years old, 10 years old, 20 years old. I don't care. As long as you played them this year and as long as you enjoyed them this year, I want to know about it. So, hit me up in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.